Hey my lovelies, I hope you're all safe and well. It's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do this Wednesday's Facebook Witches Rune reveals for you all. So let's have a little look at this. So if you were drawn to rune number 1, we're going into the energy of the Witch's Scythe or Seath, otherwise known as the Witch's Blade. So when this sort of shows, it's coming in to offer you a real important level of protection, okay? It may be at the moment that there are some choices, some actions, some decisions that need to be made that kind of represent severing. You know, sometimes we can love people, we can love connections, we can love something that is part of our life, but also there might be other logistics, meaning that it's not healthy to kind of keep this, whatever this is, in your world. I've had it before where I've loved, you know, jobs, but the people have been, you know, so detrimental. It would have been a sacrifice to my soul to stay for that company, even though the actual job itself I loved, you know. So that's just an example. There are some people that are in really sort of, you know, confusing relationships where they love the person, but the behavior, the essence of that person isn't kind of bringing to the table the value of what's required, you know, what's needed. And so sometimes, much as it hurts, much as it's really sort of overwhelming, sometimes we have to sever this off. As you guys know, you know, with all the stuff that happened in recent times with like the Never Cross a Witch Bitch podcast and my personal friendship with Lucy, that whole stuff. And I don't want to keep going on about that, but that obviously is an example of this. Loved doing the podcast, loved doing, you know, my friendship with Lucy. Some stuff happened that became really unacceptable for me to be able to continue that friendship, and it was one of the hardest things I've had to do for a long time, but I had to sort of imply an action this and close the podcast down because it was no longer safe for me. It was no longer acceptable for me. It no longer was serving my higher good, my higher soul. But it killed me to do in the process. I didn't want to do it, and it wasn't done lightly, because I'm not going to lie, I'm going to swear, it fucking hurt, you know? And that's sometimes what this is a little bit, you know? Having to sort of disconnect, even if it is really painful, but being secure as to why you've done what you've done and knowing that you've done this for the right reasons, even if it is painful. So maybe some of you at the moment are having to look very carefully about where your energetic contracts are and where you're giving your energetic connection, people, families, friends, relationships, you know, whatever it is, making sure you're getting the best value, the best return from things. And if you're being disrespected, if you're not respected, if you're not actually getting the security of what you need, this maybe has to happen, you know, and it's not nice, but give yourself permission to do it. Be brave enough to do it for you, because it will protect you in the longer run, you know. Okay, so as we're going into rune number 2, we're going into the energy of waves. Waves takes us into a really important space where we're wanting to honor our emotions. Now, I think it's a really crazy time as a collective at the moment. Everybody that I'm talking to is going through the journey and the cycle of waves in some way, in some level at the moment, you know, whether it's small, minor. For some people, the waves are a lot more loud, they're a lot more aggressive, and it's very unsettling, it's very sort of bumpy, it's very rough, you know. I always say with the rune of waves, imagine a rough, bumpy, very stormy, aggressive sea, and it is hard to keep on sail, on course, when you're in that energy. So maybe some of you are really feeling this emotional sort of overwhelmment at the moment, but like with any rough waters, the sea will calm, the sea will settle. Might not be instant, might take a bit of time, but there will be a point when the water becomes calm, the water becomes gentle, and eventually the water will become peaceful, because with all rough waters, there has to be like a start, a middle, and an end process. It's that cycle, it's that rhythm of what happens. And so with this, some of you might be going on deep kind of grieving journeys, and that could be grieving lots of things. It could be grieving a loved one to spirit, but it could also be grieving a version of life that is no longer available or acceptable. If there's been a disconnection with a friend or a relationship or family members. It could be grieving a former, or there could be emotions around a former version of life that you wanted to have, and the course of, you know, energy changed what was available. Maybe there was a house or something you were applying for and wanted to get. Maybe there was a job that you didn't quite get. Maybe there was something else that you were doing, and illness has changed the path and changed the course and prevented you from moving forward. So waves can show in lots of different pockets and space and place. But if you are feeling quite emotional, I think it's really important to honor the feelings, you know. Yes, don't stay consumed and stuck in them to the point where they hold you back and become detrimental. But I think sometimes it is important to acknowledge just the energy of what this represents. And it could also reflect on the positive. Maybe you've been in that rough water, but now maybe you're moving into a much more sort of gentle, more peaceful, beautiful time. So maybe for some of you, this is now reflecting peace coming in after a battle or after a storm. So depending what's going on with you personally will resonate on which sort of peace you can take, really. But just know that that rough water doesn't stay bumpy forever. And finally, with the last rune, we're going into the rune of woman. Rune of woman would be very similar to the Empress card in more conventional tarot. So basically this is being a natural healer. It may be that you are someone that is a healer yourself. You have this deep level of universal empathy, of love, and maybe you are someone that kind of people gravitate towards because you offer this kind of maternal vibe, really. But the rune of woman also is about you just really celebrating the feminine side of you, whether you're male or whether you're female, it doesn't matter, because we all have these counteractive energy parts. I think obviously with Mother's Day coming up, a lot of people are going to be really feeling the energy of woman at the moment, and woman takes us into that space as well of just really wanting to celebrate the women, the people, you know, those beautiful sort of energies that are in your life. So maybe some of you are really missing a mum that's now in the world of spirit, or a nan. You know, my nan's behind me all the time in these videos, and she's been gone a long time now, and I still bloody miss her. Do you know what I mean? I know she's there spiritually, but I miss her so much because she was such a beautiful lady. So sometimes it's maybe honouring and just remembering. I know we've recently had Women's Independence Day and everything, and the celebration of that, International Day, whatever it was, Independence Day, wasn't it? And like, yeah, just a time to sort of really sort of celebrate the feminine. But I think in more practical ways, this is almost like just being kind to you, being that healer for yourself, giving back to you. Sometimes this kind of rune shows as well if you're someone that's like caught between thoughts and feelings. So like the way that the top of this kind of crosses over, we can sometimes see that as roads, and maybe being pulled down one or the other and not quite sure what way to go. But then the main sort of path, the main track in the middle, will be enough. It will guide you forward. So I think it's really trusting. And obviously when we sort of talk to a mum or someone that just gives us that kind of gentle reassurance, sometimes that's what this is about as well. So maybe you're needing to sort of just get some gentle reassurance from a friend or somebody on the earth, or maybe just talking to the spirit world and allowing their energy to sort of step forward and to guide you. But it's definitely a time to just nurture, to heal, to just really love at the moment, you know, to just really love. So an interesting set. I hope you can make sense of them. What do I need to let you know about? Couple of things going on. So just to say, this coming Saturday, I'm going to be over in Carpe Noctem in Frome. There are now just 3 spaces left for private one-to-one readings with me. I think they're all afternoon spaces now. I think it's like 3, 3:30 and 4 or 4:30, something like that. But pop over to the website and you can get those booked if you feel guided to. And then this coming Sunday, I'm going to be over at the Witches Market and Psychic Fair in Westbury, Wiltshire. It's happening over at the White Horse View, which is very exciting. I do still have some spaces left, which is unheard of, you know, so grab those up quick. I think I've got like 5 spaces left, I want to say. So if you want to come and see me, book a session, book a space. It will be amazing to have you there. The next Witches Market isn't going to be until October, so it's quite a long time to wait. So if you're free, if you're stuck with something to do, come and see me because it's going to be amazing. And then next Friday, I'm going to be back over in Colour and Crystals in Trowbridge. So if you're not able to make those spaces, but you really want to come and see me for an in-person reading, Colour and Crystals will be the place to find me. And then on a Sunday night, very excited, next Sunday this is, I'm going to be over at Seend Community Hall Centre doing the next night of my tour for this year. I was going to say Spirit Magic Tour, but I'm not calling it Spirit Magic this year, but it kind of still is a Spirit Magic Tour. We are down to like the last 30 tickets now, I believe. It's going to be an amazing evening. I've done Seend a lot. I think this is like the 4th time now. So it's just on the edge of Devizes, perfect for everybody that's in and around Westbury, Trowbridge, Devizes, not too far from Chippenham. It's not even that far from Avebury and that sort of side, and people in Hungerford if you wanted to kind of come over, because literally you only just go through Devizes and then Seend is the little village just outside. So it's going to be amazing. I'm really buzzing for it. So Mum's going to be there with her stall as well for all of your sparkly goodies. So yeah, just going to be a beautiful night honouring and connecting with spirit and reconnecting you back with loved ones that are safe and well on the other side. So going to leave it with you. Keep shining bright. Look after yourself. I really hope that this week's messages make a bit of sense. I am now off to the theatre, which I'm very excited about. So I'm off to see my annual once a year, I try and do it once a year, off to see the 3 Degrees with my family. So I am literally buzzing for that. So it's going to be amazing. I mean, they are quite mature ladies now, but they are still absolutely fabulous. So, you know, if you're into like Motown and sort of that era, definitely go and grab a ticket and check out the 3 Degrees, because yeah, they are pretty special. It's a pretty fun night. So that's what I'm off to do now. So have some fun, look after yourselves, and I will see you all very soon. Take care, much love. Bye for now.